And I am going to turn it over to Holly.
Hi, everybody. It's good to see you again. I don't know how many of you were at the Tuesday meeting, but I'm going to try to show some things that are a little bit different from that meeting. Of course, if anybody wants to see any particular item going forward into the days, weeks, and months and years, we can do it this way. My faithful assistant, Jerry, suggested that I should introduce myself. So I'll do that for those who aren't familiar with me, and I'll share my screen. I own and operate Sciver Bobbin Lace, and I've been in business since 1981. I think I'm actually up to 48 years, and the business is comprised of instruction and supplies, and they work side by side. My heart is in teaching. The supplies is to be able to make it happen for the rest of you. We are a full service bobbin lace making business, including new books, used books, threads, bobbins, pillows, tools, kits, pins, bobbin winders, antique lace, and unusual items. And I'm getting old enough and long enough in the tooth that some unusual items show up. I like to work with the customer. I like to talk to the customer. That's why I don't have a basket site, security as well. And I try to fit you into the supplies that are precisely what you need to do the job. So if you call me, I may talk you out of some items and direct you towards others. Anyway, I find it a lot of fun. And during this COVID year, you've all been my company, and it kept me going. On the first part of this trunk show, I want to emphasize my instruction portion. Let's see if I can do this right. I teach bobbin lace at all different levels, including torsion. Not my best examples, but in this particular piece here, I actually teach new students 3 lessons in how to make the pricking for this piece without having to understand anything about how to make the lace.
Make it bigger.
My assistant says, make it bigger. Is that big enough?
That's great.
Okay. I specialize in invisible starts and finishes, and teaching people how to read the pricking and to make lace with or without a diagram. I provide diagrams, but you'd be surprised at how many people in my classes never look at them, because we're learning the language of lace and how to deduce solutions. Other laces that I teach, Bedfordshire is a favorite. One of the things you need to understand about Bedfordshire. Whoops.
It's okay, that's what you're sharing.
And I'll make this bigger. Jump in if you can't see anything or there's a lag. Bedfordshire is an interesting lace. It's a pure lace. It is characterized by plaits, picots, and trails. It's a fascinating lace because it, in the 19th century, became the great melting pot of laces, meaning you see characteristics of needle lace, Honiton lace, Buck's Point, and other guipure laces. In that category, there's the Leicester laces. And over the years, I have been in the process of designing and having my students make the different various pieces. I thought this was relevant because if you heard Yvonne's lecture last night and her presentation of her beautiful book, Beauty of the Orient, and her floral Bedfordshire book, she was asked whether she would teach online, and she said that she wasn't interested in that. So if anybody would like to learn the kinds of techniques that she was talking about, I can do that for you. I also teach Buck's Point, which is a real favorite. And I teach from beginning and the geometrics to the florals. Take note of this piece here. I'm going to zoom in a lot. Whoops. How about that?
Perfect.
And I'll go even bigger. This has just been a showstopper over the years, but this little piece looks simple, doesn't it? Try to find where I started or finished that piece. Look quickly because I'm going to move on. But this is my invisible starts and finishes piece in Buck's Point, and there's multiple skills in it on how to get out of a pattern invisibly and with almost no knots. Let's go back to a more reasonable size. This piece here is a piece that I designed. How's that? Okay.
Beautiful.
And this was designed from using 3 parts from a traditional straight edging. The fern, the mini fans. My mouse is very sensitive, so bear with me. I designed the corner first, and then I thought, well, now that I've got a corner, how about do a handkerchief? The absolutely stunning execution of this pattern is by Kristen Conrad. She did it in 420s, Barton Francis silk with applied floss gimp. Maybe I'll publish it someday, but this pattern evolved from this. Okay, and I also teach Honiton lace. These are my favorite laces. I don't want to go too far into this, but Honiton lace is a lace that every single lace maker should take at least one course in. And you don't have to do it in the traditional 120 Egyptian cotton thread and finer to start. I offer this course now in bigger size threads, just so you learn the skills, because your Honiton skills will transfer to your contemporary lace skills. And I'll sometimes offer this course in concert one with the other,
Holly?
because the skills can be shared.
Holly,
Yes.
would you show us your tortoise up close?
Yes. That is a pattern that I got from the Devon Teachers Association pattern packet. And
Fun.
I thought, wouldn't that make a great learning pricking? But I didn't have the pricking. So from the piece of lace, I made the pricking and the fillings. And I've done a diagram of execution, direction of working, what you do first, second, third, etc. He's very popular. I wish I knew the name of the designer of this pricking, but it's one of the Devon teachers. This pattern, which I executed, is from Pat Perriman's book. I believe she was the designer, not Cynthia Boise, but don't hold me on that, I'll have to look. This is another one of the Devon teachers patterns, and I redrafted and did the design on that, or improved the design on that pricking so that I could implement some of Yvonne's techniques using gold with white thread. And that's on my pillow now, but this is the original maker, but I've changed these leaves so that the perspective is more natural. So I do things like that. I teach you to read the pricking. I teach you the fundamental skills. And I had one more to show you, just a close up. This is the work of Betty Mudridge Carson. And she spent a whole workshop just selecting the colors. She had bags and bags and bags of thread. And we settled on Gutermann 103 silk with some metallic accents. The red threads that you see coming out of here are magic threads in places where she thought the sewings might be a little bit difficult. And then we talked at great length about what to do first, second, and third, and how to build the structure of the pattern. One of the neatest parts was coming around the nose, having this blend neatly into the cross stitch, and then turning up this side. So this went like this and that. Okay, so anyway, I can teach you if you want me to. Give me a call. Today's focus on supplies I thought would be on, since I'm teaching fundamental skills, I thought it would be nice. Maybe I don't need that. And I don't know exactly who is in the audience, but the Lace Guild does, the Lace Guild in England does a series of books that are to the point and affordable. Introduction to Bruges Lace is a straight or a tape lace, floral Bruges by Jean Hardy. And that's the pattern. She covers fundamentals, how to do picots, how to start. That flower is very typical of Bruges flower lace. You also see it in India lace or in Russian lace. And these little booklets, although they're not big, they get you going. Like here's an example to how to use a new thread. We're going to cover that in today's class. They are excellent reference and been around for a long time. Many of you have them, but if you don't, this is a great addition to your library or to a guild library for people to learn. This is the introduction to needle lace. There's an intermediate book. I sold out of that. I ordered new copies and I got an email back saying, my goodness, we've been contacted for track and trace. So the Lace Guild is out of commission for at least a week. And let's hope everybody who works there is okay. Again, one of my favorites, of course, you can't go wrong with Elsie Lutson's book or Sue Thompson's book. But for quick reference, this book is really good. Joyce Dorset, she also did a book on fillings, which is out of print, but don't forget, you have the I.O.L.I library, which is one of your best resources in the world. The New York City Public Library is also good for interlibrary loan, as is the Cornell University Library. But these books start at the beginning, they take you forward step by step and carry you through the techniques. One of the things I like in this book that I often reference, let's see if I can find it, Have you ever noticed whenever you want to find something in a book, it eludes you? But there's blossom filling. In Jean Leader's Bedfordshire book, she appropriately puts the Honiton technique alongside the Bedfordshire technique for blossom filling because you see it in both laces. Remember I said the melting pot, so keep that one in mind. Is anybody experiencing any delay? Okay. Here's Jean's introduction to Bedfordshire lace. And on the Tuesday trunk show, I featured her new book, actually right now, Bedfordshire Lace. This is the book I recommend, but for about half the price, you can get your fundamentals in this book. In her new book, she takes the fundamental skills much further into floral. Keep in mind that anybody who wants to see a book before purchasing it, they can ask me to schedule a Zoom meeting and we can do it this way. Take a look at this page. This is a Honiton filling, commonly seen in Bedfordshire lace in the middle of the 19th century. You'll need to hear my Leicester lecture, which is a crowd pleaser, to hear the story behind that and how it happened, how Thomas Leicester became enamored. This is a fantastic exercise if you want to learn how to put veins into cross-stitch leaves. Worth the price of the book just for that little exercise. I always encourage people to do simple and easy things first. Don't pick the great big project and have a lot coming down on you all at once. Get your fundamentals under your belt and then you can breeze through the harder stuff pretty easily. So this is a great little book. Milanese can't beat Pat Reed's Milanese book. She has two books that she wrote that are out of print. We've all lived too long, but this book will get you to first, second, and third base, and then you can take somebody. I showed this book on the first session and people didn't catch the title. It's Milanese Lace by Barbara Corbet. And this book is a big, big, big book. And I like it because it takes all the different Milanese tapes and diagrams, how you make the straight tape, how you do a 90-degree turn, and how you do the curve. And it's just tape after tape after tape after tape, and it goes on for 239 pages.
Holly, I just made a labyrinth with 48 different stitches in it, and that book was priceless.
Priceless. My advice to everybody is if you see a book that is meaningful for you and to your library, get it. The market for this stuff is small and publishers are not tending to reprint these days. Okay, where are we? If you go to my webpage, you will see under basic, what do I call it? Manuals and skills. I guess, Jerry, my assistant said, do you want to show my webpage? Well, why not?
Yes.
I learned how to do it. So
Yay.
let me show it.
Looks
Is it
great,
there?
Holly.
Do you have it open? You'll have to refresh it again.
I'm getting there. Okay. anybody who hasn't been to my webpage, start at the home page because all the new stuff's going to be in this block right here. And after Yvonne's lecture last night, I sold out of Beauty of the Orient. I will be getting new copies in. I doubt it will be at the fantastic price I had it at. But this book also generated some interest with off before and after. With off is a sister lace to Honiton and to Brussels. So you are learning skills that are applied to the same problem. Every lace, you can identify problems, and different traditions solve that problem differently. So if you learn one in that family of lace, you can then jump to another like Honiton to Withoff and say, oh, that's the way they do it there. And then you can decide if you're going to move into designing yourself or making your own contemporary pieces, which technique you like or think will work the best for you.
Sciver.com. Announce where your lace, where your website is.
Oh, Jerry says announce where your website is, Sciver.com. There you go. That's a picture of my hands working a piece of Turner lace, which I did many pieces back in the 80s. I even offered a Bucks Turner comparison course. It's interesting. But if you go to books and then go to Bobbin Lace Manuals and Skills, this is where you'll find those books that are relevant, fundamental skills in them that you'll pass from lace to lace to lace. On the first row, I have a lot of my beginning books. And on the second row, some fundamental skills. And one that I think everybody should have in their library is A Course of Yvonne's, which sold out on Tuesday. But before that book came out, Ulrika's book, The Beginning of the End, she always likes to use a play on words. And this book, you can't go to, when I die, this book's going in the grave with me. So let's see. And what she does in this book is tell you how to start a lace in order to be able to end it invisibly. It is a catch-22 because you need to know how to make the piece before you can understand how to end the piece. But as you go forward in your lace making skills, that's not an impossible task. She groups the techniques by problem. So what do you do if you're faced with this situation? What do you do if you're faced with that situation? And so forth. So this is something I encourage everybody consider for their library. Okay. Another one of Ulrika's books. This was never published in England. It was one of her earlier books, 400 Tricks. And again, it's kind of like Bridget Cook's Practical Skills. But what do you do if you face the 90-degree corner in half stitch, which is represented by green? What do you do if you have a curve there? What do you do? Let's just go to, she does a lot with plaits and with joins and crossings. I can tell you all that Google Translate has dramatically improved their site. And you can take almost any text and get the idea out of it. This book did go out of print. She did reprint it. I don't know what she would do once this edition is sold out. And another from Ulrika Anybody, now you know that her background comes from Chantilly. I don't want her ears to be ringing if I said Chantilly.
Mhm.
Oh, it's Chantilly. And I'll turn to one particular page that I find a useful demonstration, you know, worth the price of the book. But people say, Holly, what size thread? What size gimp? What, you know, and people have way too much angst about that. Here is a picture of point ground crossing 3 twists. And what she's showing you here is what size gimp to use. Well, the size of the ground remains the same through the pattern repeats. Nothing's different. But she plies her ground or folds her ground. And the first one is 4 strands of a thread. She uses floss and spun silk. This one's 6, this one's 8, this one's 10, 12, and 14. So anybody doing the proficiency exams, this is an interesting page to look at. And on and on and on it goes. I mean, so for point ground, it's excellent. Keep in mind that it comes from the point of view of Chantilly lace, not so much bucks, but you can draw many comparisons and skills from it. Jump in with your questions. Here's a book that I'm going to show you just because I think it's so much fun. It's Alex Stillwell's Salix Dictionary of not lace, but lace making. This is just a fun book to read. She goes through things alphabetically and describes what beeswax is for, what the term beggar's lace means, what a Belgian bobbin looks like. One of the things I like is, let me see if it's in here. Here we go. Toad in the hole.
Ah,
The Honiton lace makers, their fillings, it's one of the laces that thrives through the 20th century as a lot of others were fading because of their fillings. And people were inventing filling after filling after filling. And they would name them Toad in the Hole. And here it is. And she describes the background to that. So it's a lot of fun to read. And as an extra bonus, there is technique in it, spider ground. Now, of course, we have a whole book on spiders. In fact, 2 that are quite good. But I thought I'd mention that because it's not one that people ever think of getting, but it's one that I personally grab just for fun every now and then to refresh my teaching from back, as Jerry likes to say, the last half of the last century, because I started in 1974. So here's a set of books that are new. Cantu lace is one of those fabulous laces, Northern Italy. And it's a tape-based lace where they move pairs around the pattern in a unique way. Emmanuel or Bongalia Emmanuel, I've just never seen lace so beautifully made as that. And I've looked at his YouTube videos and they're just not going to get you there. Uh-oh. Did you lose the picture? Belinda? The picture.
There we go. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
perfect.
Okay, I'm going to pick which rotation I like the best. How's that?
Yes.
Okay. You know, this fella, this book is entirely devoted to the rose. And he walks you through that pattern step by step. Now, there is a presumption of knowledge in these books. In other words, if you're a beginning lace maker, don't get this book. If you've done some balloon work, perfect. Or Honiton, or any kind of tape, or any tape-based lace. And he'll give you some instruction up top and then demonstrate it below. I really need to be up a little bit further. And he's written a second book called The Curves. So he's dissecting the lace. And God, isn't his work beautiful? And he's just written to me to tell me that a third book is coming out. And I can't remember the title, but it focuses on a different element of the lace. This is a beautiful lace. Anybody who's taken from Betty Manfrey would benefit from these. And right now they're pretty affordable at $24.
Nice.
Do you have those in Italian also? Or just English?
I have them in just English.
Okay.
Now, here's a book from my used book collection. When I was a little girl learning to make bobbin lace, this was one of the only books available to buy at Foyles on Charing Cross Road in London. And it was originally published in 1928, and this publication was done in 1984. And it's a description of how to make, this is called a pillow horse and a mushroom pillow. That's what they made lace on in the East Midlands.
There's no picture yet. There you
There's
go.
lag. The book is just coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lag?
Yeah, a
Okay.
little bit.
Yes, okay, that's going to get worse. Just bear with me.
Okay.
You quit in camera.
Yeah,
You didn't quit.
yes, I did. So enjoy looking at those. Let's see if we can open this.
You're
up.
miracle.
How's that?
Great.
Clear.
Okay, so we're back.
We're seeing the table of contents.
Try moving
So you're still,
turn camera back on.
I did. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what are they seeing?
They're still seeing the table. of
It's a
contents.
frozen picture of your hand on the table of contents.
Okay,
Do a different share and then come back. Okay. No. Try again.
oh, I hadn't opened it, Jim. Just bear with me.
Go to second camera. Gonna have to reboot.
Okay. I am going to have to reboot the computer. This will take 5 minutes.
No, not
Three
2
minutes, 2 minutes. Okay. So this is a good time to
Take a little break.
take a little break. And hang in there with me, Belinda.
Okay,
And we'll restart.
Holly, what are you teaching next year in Mesa?
I forget.
Can you teach Honiton and do a Thomas Lester lecture as well?
She's scheduled to teach Honiton.
And there you have it.
Awesome. Wish granted.
Yay.
Ask and ye shall receive.
What about a lecture about
Those
Thomas
have to be
Lester?
started.
I'm not sure what they're doing with their lectures. You know, a lot of all these plans were actually
Oh,
made
a long
before
time
the
ago.
shutdown. Yeah,
Yes.
so I'm not really sure what they're going to be doing with the.
I like that idea, though.
Yeah, I will pass it on to the powers that be.
Hmm.
She's just dynamic to listen to, period. She knows so much and
Uh-huh.
has been around for so long that, you know, we could just have her do the entire conference.
Like she said, we've all lived too long.
Shush, Vicky.
I beg to differ, but yeah.
What are you working on, Vicky?
I'm working on my homework for Bedfordshire Lace with Elizabeth.
Nice.
And no, I haven't finished my cuff.
Nor have I. I started it in 2009.
Me too. I was there with you, but you're a lot further.
Well, yeah.
I thought you were done.
Nope, just slightly over halfway.
Oh my goodness.
And I don't even have it at my house anymore. My friend Vicky has custody of it
Ah,
because I moved and I didn't want my pillows with lace in progress to get damaged. So
right. Good idea. Well, it's still on my UFO list.
yes.
I need to do a refresher course like this first, though.
Belinda, this is Sherry. You
Hi,
look
Sherry.
really pretty today. That's a good color for you.
Thank you.
That is very nice.
Now that my hair is a different color, all of my colors that I wore before don't work. So
Well, your hair's lovely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
thank you. It's still a shock to look in the mirror and see an old woman there.
A beautiful one.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.
Oh, you look like a young lady to me.
Oh, thank you. Bless you. Bless you.
See, this, I think this week has been good for you, Belinda. You said you've gotten lots of nice comments.
I have gotten so many, but I tell you, the comments are going to the wrong person. They should be going to my committee members.
Ah,
So all I've been doing is cracking the whip behind the scenes. They've made it happen. So
We don't see those guys.
no, you don't. You're stuck with my face on every call. It seems like, Holly's coming back in.
Okay.
quick question. Were you talking about Holly and I.O.L.I next year?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
In Mesa, put it on your calendar.
Oh,
and
yeah.
add-
It's-
It's
Yeah.
been on there a while.
I didn't know. I didn't know if you meant Mesa was a different conference or I.O.L.I. I don't know. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
I.O.L.I, and we're so hoping to just get back
Double click.
to normal.
Yeah, of course. Uh-oh, there it goes again. There you are. You're frozen.
She's moving. Oh, it's frustrating.
Camel up.
Rebooting that.
Give it a second. Takes a second.
Yeah. So anyway, what I miss.
We
No,
were
we're
talking
talking about
you.
Mesa. Mesa, and you need to be on the schedule sometime down the road with your Thomas Lester lecture.
It's a fun lecture because it's so interdisciplinary.
Didn't you
And
give that Amsterdam, Amherst once?
I did it at Amherst.
Yeah.
I've done it years ago at the Great Lakes Lace Group. Okay, what do you see, guys?
We see a
Uh,
horse.
Picture.
Good.
Hello, yay.
I use software called Camo, C-A-M-O, and it allows me to manipulate all sorts of things. And it's been working very well, except for that moment. So anyway, this is an old book, but my story about this book, let's read.
Oh,
Is that when I was learning in London, I started with Jacob's Ladder, which is a simple little Bucks piece. Just unplug that and put it back in. And then I said to the teacher, I want to do that piece. And it was a torchon piece. And then I said, oh, I want to do that piece. And it was a Bucks piece. So my instruction was a bit haphazard, but I was young enough to put it together in my head. And what I wanted, I got this book at Foyles on Charing Cross Road in London. And I saw this pattern called I'm certain it's in here, called The True Lover's Knot. There it is. Try again.
oh, it was there.
What in the world?
And for some reason, it doesn't want to stay connected.
Yeah.
Try a different port in the back of the computer.
Ollie, maybe if you wrap Jerry's arms in aluminum foil and have him stand back there with his arms extended, holding the table.
So anyway, I didn't have a pricking for it. This book didn't have pricking. So I plotted it out on graph paper. Well, as you all know, Bucks Point isn't drafted at 45 degrees, but I followed the instructions in this book and I made it. And I learned more by doing that, even though it wasn't the best,
I don't know what to say, babe.
the best thing to do. So here's another book, Bruges. Just keep unplugging it and plugging it back in. This is by Kamiko Nakasaki.
Can we
And
see the cover, please? Holly, can we see the cover?
yes, can you see that?
Oh, there we go. Great, thank you.
Okay, and then on the back of the book are some of the patterns in the book. And of course, she has the beautiful Banch pattern, but many of the patterns in this book follow Martine Brueggemann's designs. And Martine's given me permission to use her patterns. I mean, I sell them when I have them, but to use those in my classes. And using tape lace skills and Honiton skills, we just throw rules to the wind and we look at that picture and discuss how to interpret it in lace. And this can be more fun. Too many of us are stuck on, you've got to do it right, you've got to do it right. Well, in the old days, they never did it right. They just made the lace. We've tended to formalize it now, especially the geometric laces. So this is a fun book, which has a mixture of Banch and the contemporary pieces, which are here somewhere.
Ooh, pretty.
Pieces like that. And yeah, I encourage anybody to do these, to loosen up. Don't think there's not a mistake you can make. Just make it with what you know. So that's a new book that's a lot of fun. I had a request today for some of the polychrome stuff. And this is a lace that I would like to design from some patterns for him to teach, because it's in the Guipure family of laces. But amazing things can be done with it. Let me see if I can find here's a good picture. Notice that each color of the leaf is different.
Oh,
You
yeah.
learn how to do that and how to carry colors in the cord, how to drop them out, do the joins, come in and out. It's you're doing plaits and picots and petals and so forth, but the approach and direction of working is very different from Bedfordshire. This is a lace that really hasn't caught on yet, but when it does, I think they taught a course in this in Montreal, the last lace convention in Montreal. And the group in Brioude, I think, don't, this is recorded, so I should be careful. But they did a beautiful dress and bodice piece for, I think it was Christian Dior. It sold for a fabulous amount of money. But I particularly like the colors selected here.
Holly,
lot of-
is this in English?
No.
Is
No,
there-
this is a French book, of course not. But Google Translate is excellent on French. And the diagrams in the French books are very, very good.
They are.
But the trick here is to do a simple piece. And that's why I wanted to design one for the purposes of teaching that get the fundamental techniques across.
Do it, do it.
Okay, unplug and replug. It's off again.
It might be, it might have dirt in the phone.
Yeah, there might be dirt in the port, so we're,
There it goes.
okay. Here is another book in the same Odette Opran. She's recently passed, and she was a great, great contributor of lace. Again, I like the colors up here. And just, it's fun lace making.
It's 3:20. You want to cover some other things?
Okay, oh, I do want to cover some other things. So I think I'll go off the books. I could go on with books forever. But one of the things and you know, I usually do something on tools, but I prepared, I just have a few posters from a, where's the mouse? And I can go way wide on this.
Okay.
And I think the way I might do
Rotate.
this. Okay, plug and unplug. We'll blow into that port after this is done. Okay. And these are just fun posters that were in a collection from an estate sale from Joe Bidner, who lived in a brown house in Brooklyn, and she collected everything. I have two of these. This one I think is quite pretty. And I'm just selling any of these for $24.95. This one's nice just for the lace itself. And then these are quite big. These are not in as good a condition as the others, but I think a framer could help with that. So there's two of those. Now, I also promised to show you some of the blueprints from the French fashion house.
It's just me.
That's Jerry making invisible lace. Okay, these were, I forget the name of the house, but it's printed on each one of these. And they're drawings for machine-made lace. But as we all know, the machine-made lace made in the 19th century was patterned after and designed after bobbin lace. And most of these are blueprints that have an element of the lace. So they'll have there's the design, but then there is the finished lace. Oops, up, down. There we go. Now, some of the laces on these blueprints, they're $12 a sheet, don't necessarily match, but they're close. These would be of interest to somebody wanting to, this one doesn't have a piece of lace on it, but anybody designing lace will be able to see their favorite technique in one of these. This tulip, even though it's not on this piece, you see it in floral bucks everywhere. So these are just a lot of fun. And I have dozens. Let's see.
Got the next.
Does any, well, this one's quite pretty. Does anybody want me to talk about pins or tools? I'll just go to my, as you can see, these just go on and on and on and on and on. So when there's a proficiency exam for creating your own designs, think of these. Now,
There's a request for,
yeah, we're going to go back to new share and look at my website.
You're not sharing it.
If you go to pins, I'm trying to get pictures of all the boxes up there so that you can see. But if you scroll down, there's a pin sample card. And if you blow this up, you can get a fairly good sense of what is available in pins. I will tell you, and I'll put you on the search, we need a 26 by 0.55 pin. Nui used to do a pin like this for Honiton lace with a small head, and it was really perfect. So for our Honiton and Whittop, we're using the 17 by 45. They're also very good, but for the inexperienced lace maker, they're just a little small. Anyway, that's nice to print out and put in your notebooks. And how to select a pin and what the numbers mean is in an article below. And it's basically the first number describes the length of the pin. A 26 is 1 inch. That's something we can all remember. The basic torsion pin is 26 by 0.65. Any number, the second number is the diameter. Any number that's higher, the pin is going to be thicker. And any number that's lower than this 0.65, the pin is going to be smaller. So your 26 by 40 is 1 inch long and very fine. It's as fine as an insect pin, but shorter. So we have those in an inch and a quarter, and the 38s, which are an 1.5 inches. Now, some people doing point ground laces or honeycomb, we've learned that using pins that are a 0.40 are just too small for the honeycomb and picots. So this 30 by 80 is quite nice for a pin that you close. That would be the honeycomb ground and the picots. Joanne U.L. did my invisible starts and finishes class, and she took that pattern and worked it with, I think, 0.65, 0.7, 0.8, and maybe even 0.85. And she has examples of how that operation made that look different. This pin is just worth it for the box. It's really cool. You press the lid, it opens, and then you pop it and put it back on. I love that because you don't have to have tapes on the sides. But this is okay for Buck's Point. It has a small head, nice sharp point, and it's a little longer. If you don't want to go as long as the 38 by 54. Where is the 38 by 54? Here it is. You also see the numbers on the side of the box here. The 38 is the millimeters length. The 0.54 is the metric diameter of the pin, and the 50 is the weight of the box. Now, sometimes you will see 10. Let me see if I can find one. They've changed it. But in the old days and for decades, this number here was a 10. And it's because the machine couldn't put the extra zero on. It actually means 100 grams. So don't be confused by that. The Bohin 26 by 65 replaces the Nui 26 by 65. So that's where we all got our pins in the old days. But this page has a lot of good reference on it. At the top of any page, you'll see the headings, and you can go to any of those headings and get to the subject you want to see. I often get a lot of questions about the sewing tools, and they're fun. When I did the Lester Eagle, I used every single one of these to finish that thing. I used this one to put beads on. This one's great for somebody who's struggling with a crochet hook. Whoops, sorry. It's a latch and it's fine enough. Do not buy the Inox 4 or 2.0. It's too big and they don't make the 4.0 anymore. So if you find those on websites, they're going to be too big. I don't know where this hook comes from, but clearly they're put into these handles and it's the right size for many laces. You're not going to use it for Honiton. Here's your pin vices. A pin vise is a 4-jaw chuck and it centers a pin in a chuck for your prickings. The common mistake people make is to use a needle in their pin vise that's too small, so they bend their pins. These act like punches, these act like pencils, but prick straight up and down. Tools for lifting and pushing pins down. Your bobbin holders, these for East Midland, these for Continental. And I combine this with this on the East Midlands. This is the platform to lift, and this is one to keep them in order. Crochet hooks. Unfortunately, and we're in a dilemma right now, Dogo went into reorganization, and when they came back, they dropped all of their embroidery scissors, and they stuck to their core business, which was barber supplies, hair cutting scissors, that kind of thing. So we're looking for a company that we like. I might not be the cheapest, but I'll find the best. And that's what you want. This is a one-time purchase and you want it to be good. Any questions?
What do you think about a caliper to measure the pins that you didn't keep track of over the years?
Well, we have these,
Yep,
the pin gauges. I think this kind of tool is good enough.
Okay.
You can sort of figure it out by looking at the head. This will get you to sort your pins pretty easily. Oh, that's another interesting thing, really more for my fundamentals class, but we're putting nail polish on top of the heads of pins to distinguish the sizes. So when you're doing a 30 by 50 for bucks with a 30 by 80 for the picots, you paint one blue and one pink, and you can distinguish them very, very easily. In the poster section, Catherine Barley, the wonderful needle lacer, her husband did this. I think I might only have one of these left. And this is by a Roycroft master artist. She did beautiful, beautiful things. I don't know what she's doing now, but they were numbered. And I think there's one left. Any other questions?
It was a wonderful presentation, Holly.
Yes.
Thank you.
We could sit and listen to you all day.
Anybody who wants to order, just give me a call, not today, please, but anytime after today, give me a call and I will make the order easy, taking it over the phone. I'll discuss your purchases with you to make sure you're getting the right thing. Or if you want to send it by email, then I will send you an invoice for your approval of the details and confirmation of your address and billing address. And if I have your credit card, I'll give you the last 4 numbers, and all you have to do is say, yes, that's fine. So it's been a pleasure, always is. And I'm looking at the chat here. Anything new in pins and tools? I think I ran through them. You won't damage the pin gauge by sliding the pins in, as long as you don't force them through. That's the whole point of it. If it slides through, that's the size of the pin. No, I don't think they stretch out the holes. So I think that covers it.
Vicky,
Yes, ma'am.
I mark all my pin cushions with a piece of tape and the size of the pin on it.
That's a very good idea. I just haven't done that. And now I'm finding a little fat pin every once in a while in my nice tall thin ones.
I find them in the accordion handle of my vacuum cleaner, and boy, does that cause problem.
Yes.
Sticking out, thinking, what's that sharp thing? It's a pin on the inside. How do you get that out?
I did use the little kangaroo pin thing for a box of that was all sorted. But since then, whenever I buy pins, I mark all my pin cushions, and I only use that same pin in each pin cushion.
That's a very good idea.
Very helpful. Well,
The one other thing I wanted to mention, just bear with me. We put a different cable on this. Anybody who can.
Just to confirm, you'd like to call Siri Ken.
Oh, Siri's talking.
Who would you like to call?
Nobody. The Siri can be annoying, can't she?
She's very polite though.
Pardon me?
She's very polite though.
She is. She never gets ruffled. So one of the things, I'm just having trouble getting around to it, but I have boxes upon boxes upon boxes upon boxes of bobbins.
Oh.
Fabulous, fabulous antique box.
And these aren't even the good ones. No devices.
Oh,
Can you show us some of the bobbins?
Yeah, I'm trying.
I keep looking for the antique ones with names of our family, and I have found none.
The thing you want to do, and this just takes some time. Share screen, where is it? Go to my webpage.
Yes.
Oh,
And go to private sales.
Yes.
This is where some of the excitement is.
By the time I get there, they're sold.
Well, look carefully, like the painted cats aren't yet. They're still available. This one is available and that one. These things that I put up there sell very quickly. These were 2 spectacular bobbins, went off to Australia. The parts, oh, just wonderful. These are available, and these were made by somebody I taught how to make bobbins. And she said, gave me her credit card one day, said, buy me everything I need to make bobbins, and I did. And she came back to me with these, and I was flabbergasted.
Beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful vertical bobbins. They're the only 4 available, so they're special. If you're looking for names, scroll down to these guys. These are the sayings, and they're very, they're wonderful just to read the sayings and the misspellings, and some are puzzles that I can't figure out. But here And these, you always look to see if the head's in good shape. This is in good condition, whether the spangle is original. Or look for the best of their kind. These are called tigers. They're in mint condition. They are the best of their kind. Never, these are butterflies. They're in good shape. But here are some of the names. Thomas, Anne, Millie, Mary. I have a million William and Marys.
Yeah.
Because I had a customer whose father's name was William, the mother's name was Mary, and every time she found one, she bought one. So if we got a William and Mary out there, I got the bobbin for you. And these I just haven't gotten around to taking the pictures for. So that's a good place to reference bobbins. If you're into collecting lace, starting again, I'm going to put more pieces from this collection up. These sell instantaneously. The person who collected these had a real good eye for what was worth buying. This was a wonderful example of Carrickmacross. I called these Lepuy, but I got to check to make sure they aren't the German kin to that. She liked a lot of Brussels, Bruges, Duchesse, Point de Gauze. Let's see, but I'll show you. This was a fabulous piece. I wanted to contact Ulrika about this because this is a piece of Val, but it's made not as a continuous lace, but as a part lace. Sometimes they call it Val Blavant, but I'm not, I need to talk to an expert on that one. One of the pieces that I missed the most after I sold it was this one. I just thought it was pretty. It spoke to me. And it was a piece of Rouge Duchesse yardage. There's a lot of it. And this scroll with the flower at the end, your eye would just go to that and go around. And I thought that would be a great pattern or piece to make a pattern for. And you could do that just from that picture. So anybody feeling inspired, there was quite a bit of yardage with some pieces. A lot of them were things to wear, whole pieces. This one, I won't tell you what I sold it for, but it's out of the second book of Banche 2, La Pompadour, and really beautiful. So there's some more left of this. This person who bought it said, but why is it stained? And it's not. It was in mint condition, but I think it's the color background I had it on. And this was a Point de Gauze handkerchief that was out of this world. So Black Chantilly, this is also a nice page. I leave these up here so people can look at identifications and what they look like and try to inspire people to save some of this stuff. This was a great big shawl. And I thought, how am I going to photograph that? So I put it on a 6x9 carpet. The reason this only sold for $300 was there was some staining and damage in this corner. But otherwise that probably would have gone for twice the amount. This is Maltese. That's always fun. You always look for the Maltese cross and so forth.
Hi. Hello.
So I think I should probably go. I've got a class at 4. I think. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Miss y'all. Jerry misses you more. He says, I miss the ladies. I miss seeing people. So hopefully we'll get back to that soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Holly, and
you.
hello to Jerry.
There's
Okay.
10 things in the
Thank you,
chat.
Holly.
Okay, I'm a phone call away.
Bye-bye.
Should have remembered that sooner.
Thank you for sharing with us, Holly, and being a part of our trunk show.
Yeah.
There's a question here. What was the author of the beginning needle lace book? It's it's the Lace Guild. Written and illustrated by Michelle Kay and Michelle Dennis. Okay, thank you for anybody who wants to point out spelling mistakes to me, please. I've got a lot on my plate, and if I have a proofreader, I'm ever so thankful. Okay, I'm going to leave the meeting now and talk to you soon.
Thank you again.
See you soon, Jerry. Holly.
Bye. Jerry says bye.
Thank you.